A quote that stuck with me from university is one man's religion is another man's mythology. This upset a lot of people in my class, so we agreed to only talk about the ancient religions and mythologies. Nothing current. Believing in a higher power, an afterlife, or some sort of spiritual judgment is an incredibly personal choice and belief. It's understandable that some may get offended easily, as if they're attacking your character. However, I did notice one thing. No matter what religious view, or lack thereof, everybody seemed to like to make fun of astrology and those who believed it.
Well, yeah. I would much rather be praying to an invisible, all-powerful being, or beings seeking an answer, than looking up into the stars.
Really? You don't find something strange about accepting one but not the other?
Now I feel like I should.
Let's just jump into the video then, shall we? Hey lore lovers, it is the season finale for the first summer of the channel. And it's the beginning of a whole new series as well. This dates back thousands of years. People have revolved their entire life choices around this. Others defend their personalities or even refuse to date others because of this. I'm talking about the Zodiac. I plan to do a video a month talking about the Zodiac and the sign it represents. And then once I'm done with that, I'll move on to the next culture or civilization Zodiac or star signs as well. Before I jump into it though, I do need to clarify I'm talking about the sign and not the constellation. When the Zodiac was first created, the sun passed through the sign during this time period. But because everything moves and it's been thousands of years, it doesn't quite line up anymore. For example, Virgo, which is usually August 23rd until September 22nd, is now from September 16th to October 30th. Because of this, we now recognize the constellation and the sign as two separate entities. The constellation being in astronomy and the zodiac sign being part of astrology. Another thing to mention before moving on is the complexity of astrology. It's not just the date you were born and that's it. It's like a math equation. Say you were born on this day, so you're a 3, and all these things line up, which makes it a 7, and you multiply those together, you get 21 and you base everything off that. But if somebody else is a 3 and everything else is a 9, that's 27 instead, and completely different than 21. Astrology follows not just the sign in which you were born onto, but also moon charts, where the planets are, everything, including the eclipse. In these videos, I'm not going to go into detail about astrology any more than this. I'm just going to talk about the origins and the myth behind the sign. So, we are kicking off the series with Virgo.
That means virgin, right?
In today's vocabulary, yes, it does. But in pre-Christian times, virgin meant an unwed woman or a lesbian. So, a bit of a different definition than what we have today.
Is this maiden based off of anybody?
Most believe that Virgo is based off of Persephone from Greek mythology. She's the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. She wandered into the underworld and was trapped there. Her mother was so distraught that the world died. And Zeus had to intervene and get Persephone back. And that's why we have the seasons, because Persephone has to return to the underworld and Demeter is heartbroken from it. I can cover this whole myth in another video. It is a fascinating one. If you would like that, let me know in the comments down below. However, before the Greeks, in ancient Babylon, from 1000 to 700 BC, Virgo was someone else. Astronomers called it the furrow, and it was named after their goddess Shala, who is also the goddess of the harvest. And the brightest star in the constellation, Spica, is even Latin for ear of grain, which dates back to this Babylonian time with Shala. Virgo is even depicted as a maiden holding grain, so it really hasn't changed that much. And even before ancient Babylon, in ancient Egypt, it was believed to represent the goddess Isis. There are other myths revolving around Virgo, and all but one end in tragedy. Because of this, people born under the sign of Virgo are said to be more willing to sacrifice oneself for the greater good than anyone else. Nearly every high-profile maiden or goddess in any mythology is associated with Virgo. And at one point, Virgo was even said to represent the Virgin Mary in Christian religions.
Wait, if Mary is a virgin, and from pre-Christian times, is virgin from today's sense of the word, or no?
That's a mystery open for debate, but probably not on here. At some point, though we don't know when, Scorpio's claws were given to Virgo. And that's really the only reason why Virgo is considered the goddess of justice. She wasn't always this way, and as I've previously said, it was mostly about being the goddess of the harvest than for justice. Now, because of all of the myths surrounding Virgo, a lot of characteristics are attributed to those born under the sign. And some of those attributes are them being strong, as they have a face of stone and don't show emotion. They're said to be cheerful. As somebody who is a Virgo enters your life gets a whole lot better. They're loyal and passionate. If you have a Virgo as a friend, you have a friend for life. They're observant, as they notice every little detail and can tell if you're lying. They can also be perfectionists, domineering, self-indulgent, sensitive, analytical, and food lovers. They are fiercely independent and hate asking for help. This can be dated back with Persephone being stuck in the underworld. And when they're upset, they shut themselves off from the rest of the world. This also goes back to the Greek mythology with Demeter being upset that she lost her daughter. They're hardworking, creative, kind, and patient. And this dates back to the agricultural revolution, when farming was still being tested. They can also be picky, stubborn, uptight, and overthinking.
Wait, these are just basic and generalized personality traits that anybody could have.
That's why so many people have a hard time believing in astrology. However, this thousands-year-old belief system has stood the test of time. It's older than Abrahamic religions. Cultures from all over the world have similar attributes, so there has to be something there, right?
Or it's just generalized and vague enough that people latch onto it.
Well, okay, Negative Nancy. Clearly you aren't a Virgo with that attitude, not being cheerful. Well, lore lovers, what do you think? Do you believe in the Zodiac and star signs and astrology in general? Which sign are you? There is so much more we could cover in these videos. The Zodiac literally covers thousands of years, and I just briefly touched on the basics of the mythology behind it. Or should I include more about the astrology aspect? Who Virgo should avoid? Who should they date? Let me know what you would like to hear in future Zodiac videos in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon to be alerted when the next video becomes available. And be sure to share this video with Virgos in your life. Maybe they'll learn something about themselves, or at least the history behind the sign. This has been a wonderful season with all of you. I am so excited to be sharing more stories, more myths, and more legends with you all. So stay tuned. I have so much more to share. And don't forget, the preview for Season 2, the autumn season of 2020, will premiere on September 2nd. New videos starting September 11th. So stay tuned. And until next time, lore lovers.